We welcome you to the Elimination Chamber post-show. This is the scene right now on the floor of the United Center as Randy Orton, the quest for number 15, is underway. He has won it. Now, we are hearing there's a developing situation going on backstage. Let's get you there and capture it right away.
Where is he? Hey! What is your problem, you son of a bitch? I told you time and time again, stay out of all of this stuff. I know what you're doing. You ruined it again. You ruined it, David.
There's no bullseye in my life. There's a bullseye. Did I lie? I lied one time. I told you I was going to dangerous and unpredictable. The bullseye. Kick around the champ. I would warn you, Nick. I warned you. I told you what I was going to be like as champion. Bullseye in their back. No.
That is the undisputed champion, Drew McIntyre, who obviously played a major role in what happened there at Elimination Chamber, the men's Elimination Chamber. This has been going on for weeks with Drew McIntyre, and General Manager Nick Aldis has seen enough. Things nearly boiling over there, Big E.
Dare I say, is that borderline unprofessional from Nick Aldis to get that heated to be pulled aside? This thing is really getting to a point where it's boiled over, and I think it's kind of crossed up a bit of a line. Look, Drew went a bit too far, and here you could argue.
Here's why Nick Aldis is frustrated. Look at Drew McIntyre injecting himself into this match. This changes everything about WrestleMania.
It does, but it's the Elimination Chamber. There's no DQ. We've seen this before.
Yes, but this has been going on for weeks, including, and this is the moment of victory for the Viper as he hit the RKO on Cody Rhodes. Last night, Drew McIntyre also got involved, also offered up a title headshot to Jacob Fatu, and that's how Logan Paul gained entry here. So Drew McIntyre has been dismissing many who he sees as a threat to his reign as champion, Peter.
Yeah, well, listen, Drew McIntyre is not going to leave anything to chance. He has had enough of Cody Rhodes. I don't think he had any interest in dealing with Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania. Now, why you'd want to deal with Randy Orton? Based on how he looked tonight. E and I were watching. The second Randy came out, I said, oh, that's WrestleMania Randy right there. This is a guy who looks ready for number 15.
Ready for it.
Absolutely.
Hey, one of the big headlines we've been talking about all week is this being the last chance for Cody Rhodes to earn a WrestleMania championship match. He didn't get it.
And I think that's why so many people favored Cody to walk out of this match as you know, going into WrestleMania from Elimination Chamber, winning this match, and then going on to have a world title match. That's the Cody Rhodes we know at WrestleMania. He's in world title match after world title match after world title match. But now the question is, what does Cody do? This is unfamiliar territory with Cody the last 5 years or so.
And as upset as Cody wants to be about it, we say, and we haven't even gotten to Seth Rollins yet. We know that these kind of things happen in the chamber match. It's not like you can exactly file a petition and say craziness happened at the chamber. That's what happens at the chamber.
Absolutely.
You know, somebody asked me the other day when we were previewing this and we were on ESPN, they said, can you compare the intensity of the chamber to everything else you do, whether it's football or boxing? I said, here's the one thing you know. The guarantee is the crescendo at the end of the Elimination Chamber. When it comes to intensity, it's unmatched. The last 5 minutes of that men's chamber match, let's get to it. The masked man, Seth Rollins, is back. Seth Rollins came in with a stomp. Logan Paul, Nick Aldis, General Manager. Nick, let's get him a microphone. Nick, what?
Sorry to interrupt. All right, I'm just gonna make this quick. Drew McIntyre, I've told you time and time again to stay out of this and let this happen the right way so that one man could earn the shot to face you at WrestleMania, but you couldn't do that, could you? Like a little boy, you can't stand when the attention isn't all on you. Well, it's all on you now, Drew. And now I need your attention to be on me. Because, Drew, you seem to be so hell-bent on preventing Cody Rhodes to get another shot at you. Well, guess what? This Friday night on SmackDown, it is Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. And that's all I have to say about it.
You just heard it. General Manager Nick Aldis absolutely enraged as the confrontation with Drew McIntyre. No, please. Security pulling the champ and the general manager apart from each other. This is nearly boiling over. Aldis and McIntyre. Jackie Redmond.
It is all happening, it appears, Tess, but I don't know if Cody Rhodes just heard what happened on your set with Nick Aldis, but I just watched him leave the ring and walk up this ramp, and one thing we all know about the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, is that he makes time for the fans, especially the kids. That was not the case tonight. He came up looking as dejected as I've ever seen him, taking a pause at the top of the ramp. Fans are screaming his name. He does not go over to visit the fans. He simply looks back at the chamber, honestly, with a look of utter disbelief on his face. Because in that moment, I think he was wondering, where do I go from here in terms of WrestleMania, which is only 6 weeks away? So I'm sure he will catch up on the news that just broke on your set, but that was as dejected as I've ever seen Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, and listen, we now know where he's going. He is going to Friday Night SmackDown to fight immediately, as was ordered by Nick Aldis, for the Undisputed Championship that he had up until January 9th. So here's the big news that just happened. Because of what took place with Drew McIntyre at the end of Elimination Chamber, an enraged general manager, Nick Aldis, comes here to the post show and declares that on Friday Night SmackDown, it will be Drew McIntyre against Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Championship, Peter.
Well, listen, if the goal of Drew McIntyre getting involved tonight was to avoid a title defense against Cody Rhodes, and the only thing I can say is, congratulations, you played yourself, because now you have a match on Friday night.
And this is the reason why, as he put himself into the chamber match, and then it opened the door for Randy Orton to clean it up. The Crossroads was hit, and then the RKO, and Randy Orton with that becomes the Elimination Chamber winner and punches his ticket for a championship match at WrestleMania. Now, Big E, we just mentioned it, a championship match that we assume to be Drew McIntyre. Hold on a second. We got a big one on SmackDown in Portland, Oregon next week.
It could be Cody Rhodes. I expected when we were done tonight with the Elimination Chamber, when the match was over, we would have everything figured out. We'd have all the puzzle pieces in place.
The reason we have a seat here is because we're going to have live guests. The winners of all the action you saw here at Elimination Chamber will be joining us. We will also hear from Paul Triple H Levesque. But what an incredible evening it was from start to finish, wrapping up with Randy Orton winning the men's chamber, of course, Rhea Ripley, the women. And please welcome to the set the new Women's Intercontinental Champion, AJ Lee. Congratulations. Take a seat, AJ. That had to feel great. After all the years, gold back in your hand. How does it feel?
Amazing. It feels right to have done this in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember, but my first title, the Divas title, was won here in Chicago. So.
And who was in your corner? Who was standing there with John Full?
I remember you in the corner. I think you saved my life multiple times.
Thank you.
I couldn't have done it without you.
Let's go through the victory against Becky Lynch. Obviously, this had been a heated rivalry going back to what happened this fall, and now for the first time, singles action. You first won the title here, you come back and you win it. She exposed the turnbuckle and ended up playing a critical role down the stretch.
Yeah, she also took out Jessica Carr right there.
That's a beat that will never die, apparently.
No, apparently not.
No, she, quote-unquote, accidentally kicked Jessica Carr, the Black Widow.
Well, this is the first time you made her tap.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure she would say she was gesturing to someone,
Right.
but I think
First
that's
time tonight.
So you're already
but,
a two-time Intercontinental Champion.
Yeah, I think so. I think I technically have already defended it.
This is quite the scene here in front of your adoring
This wouldn't have
fans.
happened if you were there, E.
I said that to him. I said, where
That's
are
my
you,
bad.
E?
I let you down.
Kicking out of the manhandle slam, AJ?
I feel like I blacked out. A lot of this was just pure adrenaline.
The moment she runs into the exposed turnbuckle, and then there it is again. How did this moment feel?
So good, surreal. I felt like it took forever to get her to actually tap. It was the longest moment of my life, just waiting to see if she would give up, and she did. And it's surreal to 11 years later be a champion again.
So you say it's surreal. In that long period, you became a bestseller, right? You've met with so many fans. How realistic was it in your mind that a moment like this could actually happen?
It was not in the cards at all. Even coming back, I just wanted to come back and like beat Becky's face in once or twice, and I did that and was very happy and content with that. And so for the title opportunity to come up, that is just, I mean, it's sprinkles on top of the sundae. I'm gonna really enjoy every second of this.
Even just 1 year ago, did you ever envision being here in Chicago, winning a championship? Did you ever foresee yourself being here again?
No, not at all. But I think wonderful things happen in Chicago.
Especially for your family tonight.
Yeah, I mean,
Can you have a better night as a power couple than that?
it was really cool to be able to go out there and celebrate with Philip. And that was just like surreal. Like who would have ever thought the two of us would be holding titles in that ring ever again? Never say never. I used to always say never say never, but don't hold your breath. But now you can breathe.
It happened. And also, and I'm not trying to like induce tears, but I was affected by it. Punk was wearing the Larry Forever jacket.
Yeah.
I've got Larry on my shorts.
You've got Larry on your shorts.
Yes.
What does it mean after the amazing life that you guys gave Larry to get to celebrate him like this is pretty awesome. As a dog dad, I just love it.
Oh my gosh. Larry is the best thing that's ever happened to me. He's the love of our lives. I appreciate you guys bringing signs out for him all the time, and I will never forget him. I'll never love again the same way. But thank you guys for so much for loving him. And
Just the beginning of a great celebration
Yes.
tonight. Philip will be in this seat a little bit later. CM
only
Punk
I can call him Philip Jack.
defending the World Heavyweight Championship. AJ, congratulations on everything. The journey as a mental health advocate, the return, and now the Intercontinental Champion. Chicago, you love your AJ Lee. Congrats. Thank you. So much to come tonight. We want to tell you that at the conclusion of this post show, it'll be AAA action live from Mexico. It should be a spectacular evening of AAA. El Grande Americano is arriving for action in AAA. He is vowed to expose the original El Grande Americano as a fraud, and that'll be live to the world coming your way. That is El Ojo, Omos, El Hijo de Vikingo, Dorian Roldan. They are also coming up. Rey de Reyes tournament qualifying matches later tonight. The winner gets a AAA Mega Championship opportunity. What a great reception for
Well,
AJ.
and you know what I thought was so cool? The Intercontinental Championship, which in like among wrestling fans was always called like the workman's title, right?
Right.
The people who really grind. And it's a title on the women's side that didn't exist when AJ Lee was around the first time. And we know how she feels about that. It is kind of perfect to see it around her waist.
It is. Want to get back and to the top story that happened just as we came on the air, and that is the case of the finale of the men's chamber match. This is what happened in the midst of the match as the Masked Man returned again, but much like we saw last night on Friday Night SmackDown, this was perhaps not the Masked Man that most expected. Then all of a sudden, this Masked Man showed up, as we have seen going back now for some weeks. And he got right to business against the Vision's Logan Paul. And when the mask came off, the reactions throughout as Paul was eliminated by Cody Rhodes, only to find out it was Seth Rollins back from injury. You could hear Paul Heyman screaming, "Oh my God, no." And if that wasn't enough, this happened. The undisputed champion, Drew McIntyre, interfered in the match. Randy Orton hit an RKO. Cody Rhodes hit the crossroads, and then the Apex Predator said, I'm taking my spot at WrestleMania to fight for the championship.
Here is your winner of the men.
Now, as for the other side of the equation, the women in the Elimination Chamber, back and forth they would go. A very good start. How about this moment from Raquel Rodriguez? Right through the pod. In the end, Raquel Rodriguez would have a 2-for-1. You don't see this often. Asuka and Kiana.
That's a big
double
moment.
stack elimination.
Big moment for Raquel.
It came down to Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez, and Tiffany Stratton, Biggie.
What a performance from Raquel. I know she didn't get the job done at the end of the night, but she was dominant in this match.
We talked
throughout.
about you have the opportunity to prove yourself even if you don't win, and Raquel did that in this match.
She really made a statement. And look, we went into this match thinking that it was chalk. She was the favorite. Rhea Ripley was going to come out of this match most probably, and she did exactly what we thought she was going to do.
Hell of a performance from Tiff.
Riptide pinfall win. And you saw Jade Cargill there with a sweep, looking down, scouting who would potentially be opposite her in WrestleMania. We know the answer. Mommy's back, Chicago. Rhea Ripley, your winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber. What a performance, huh? How about that? Take a seat and join us.
This may shock you, but they love Mommy in Chicago.
Rhea, I have a question. Does this ever get old?
Man, this is wild. This can never get old. You guys are crazy. I love it.
Rhea, last night Wade and I are sitting there calling the Tag Team World Championship match. They love you. This is what they wanted tonight.
The last time we were in her home country of Australia, now we're in Chicago,
never
same
stops.
thing.
Last night it went the other way. You dropped
Yes.
the Tag Team Championships. We're sitting there saying, and now in about 20 hours, she has to reset. She has to find a way. How good did that feel knowing that you were able to do that on the quick turnaround, even mentally, let alone physically?
I mean, obviously, last night was, I don't even want to say a bit of a bummer. It was a massive bummer. But, sorry, mate, already done that. But I knew what I had to focus on. I knew what the goal was. I want to make it to WrestleMania. And I didn't have just myself backing me and giving myself confidence, but I had EO backing me and giving me confidence. So that win right there, it wasn't just for me, but that was for EO too.
I think you had 18,000 people backing you and giving you confidence too.
Rhea, I assume the WrestleMania match is you and Jade, two physical specimens. I know you're fresh off the win tonight. Have you already given thought to what that matchup might look like at WrestleMania?
Oh, you know, it sounds pretty good when you put the name Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill next to each other.
Yes, it does.
Honestly, I've been wrestling a lot of the big girls lately. And Jade, she is what she is. She looks amazing. She is amazing. She's the champion right now, but she's also never stepped in the ring with Rhea Bloody Ripley. So you can say I'm ready for anything.
Well, Rhea, Jade Cargill was up in a luxury suite. We weren't able to get to her to get her instant reaction, but she did go on X.com and post on social media. So here is the WWE Women's Champion, Jade Cargill's reaction. She simply says, I guess she'll do.
I don't think she actually understands how sadistic I can be. I guess she'll do, guys. Do you guess that I will do? You guess Rhea Bloody Ripley can just, I guess she'll do? Ah, come on, Jade. You're gonna need to come up with some better wording than that, my dude, because Rhea Bloody Ripley is gonna kick your ass.
Is any part of you, we know how much the friendship with Io meant, the tag team championship. The tag team championship run was epic. Is there any part of you that is excited to be back to singles competition?
You know, I'm real upset that I'm not going to be able to walk into WrestleMania with Io by my side. That's what I was planning this whole time. We had started talking about gear. We had started talking about everything, what we wanted to do, what we wanted to accomplish, who we would potentially be getting into the ring with. But Mommy's always up for any challenge. And I know Io is too, and I know she's not gonna get left behind. She's gonna find something, she's gonna find her way onto that card, and she's gonna do anything she can to remind everyone who the hell she is as well. Am I ready for a singles competition? I stay ready for whatever the hell gets thrown my way.
We are so ready, and it's going to be 7 weeks of this fire being fanned. Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley, your Elimination Chamber winner tonight here in Chicago. Great stuff. Awesome stuff. Let's get to Jackie with Triple H, Paul Levesque.
Tess, thank you so much. Paul, I'm going to get right into it because this was a chaotic finish to Elimination Chamber. There was the Seth Rollins of it, there was the Drew of it, and then there was the Nick Aldis announcement of it. I guess I'll ask you this. What do you think of the way Nick handled it and the announcement he made for next week?
Well, look, as a performer, you can only push your boss so far. And look, I applaud Nick Aldis for taking a stand. Drew McIntyre has been told over and over again by so many people, stay out of it, mind your own business, stay out of it. You know, don't get involved in these. Don't be at the building. Don't be here. Don't be there. Go home. And he just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Thing with that is, once you push, you got to get ready to be pushed back. He just got pushed back. Nick Aldis tired of it. Nick Aldis makes the match for this Friday night. Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes right now finds himself on the outside looking in of WrestleMania, which is an unfamiliar place for him, and it's cold out there. He's going to be driven, but also Drew McIntyre is going to be driven not to lose his spot. This is going to be interesting. I don't think anybody called Randy Orton coming out of that chamber, though Randy can do anything. I think everybody thought it was going to be Cody Rhodes, so this is a hell of a swerve on the way to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think Cody thought it was going to be Cody Rhodes too. I said this earlier on the show. I don't think I've ever seen him as dejected as he was leaving that chamber tonight. I'm sure he'll be happy if he hasn't already heard the news from Nick Aldis.
Sometimes as a performer, you just know this is your moment, this is your time, and when it's taken away like that, it's devastating. Champions are the ones that can overcome that. We'll see what Cody Rhodes can do.
All right, well, WrestleMania is certainly shaping up after tonight. I have to ask you about Rhea Ripley booking her ticket. She's never missed a WrestleMania since she debuted on the main roster, and now she'll face Jade Cargill of all people. That is a heavyweight matchup.
Yeah, Rhea Ripley has been a mainstay at the top of WrestleMania. Main event after main event after main event, she's delivered on every single one of them. Jade Cargill finds her in itself in a new position. But if you're looking at forces of nature, I've never seen one like Rhea Ripley before. Maybe the biggest star, one of the biggest stars in this company, men or women. Jade Cargill, though, just a force of nature, so much so that a lot of folks don't want to face her. This is going to be an interesting one. There's a dynamic here that I haven't seen in a long time. Two powerhouses like this in the women's division going at it for the WWE Championship. It's going to be intense.
Rhea Ripley has been a very busy superstar. That will continue for the next 6 weeks, probably on both Raw and SmackDown. We will see. And how about CM Punk? We're in Chicago, Chi-Town, his hometown, and he delivers on the biggest stage.
What a night for Chicago. AJ Lee comes out on top. Yeah. CM Punk comes out.
The king and queen of Raw now? Or?
It certainly looks that way. CM Punk, what a night for him, right? To be able to come out to the iconic Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan entrance, to being in his hometown, to retaining the World Heavyweight Championship, to having his wife out there as the new Intercontinental Champion next to him in a moment going off the air, knowing that his ticket is punched, that he's going to WrestleMania in the main event and facing arguably one of the biggest stars of this decade in Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, the OTC. It doesn't get bigger than the best in the world versus the OTC.
I know. I can't believe how long we have to wait to actually see that match take place. It feels way too far away. Before I wrap this up, just anything else that stood out for you tonight that you want to mention or comment on?
Yeah, I just got to
You're speechless.
Me not commenting on the crate and Danhausen. Michael Cole got a nice bucket of teeth. I think we're in for a fun time.
I don't know what we're in for, but I will definitely be excited to see what is in store.
Whatever it is going to be a blast.
All right, road to WrestleMania, the best time of year. Paul Triple H Levesque, back to you, Tess.
Jackie, outstanding work there with the architect of all of this, Paul Triple H Levesque. Of course, that is Las Vegas. That is the destination. And now the WrestleMania card takes shape because CM Punk was able to defend tonight against Finn Balor. So you get one of the most anticipated main events in history. That is not an overstatement. In history of Punk against Reigns. We now know that Liv Morgan has chosen. The Royal Rumble winner is going up against Stephanie McCare for the Women's World Championship. As we advance things with what we learned here in Chicago, Rhea Ripley was victorious. So it's Rhea Ripley against Jade Cargill for the WWE Women's Championship. And then comes what happened in Men's Chamber. Randy Orton was the winner. Randy Orton hitting the RKO on Cody Rhodes. Drew McIntyre is the champion, the undisputed WWE champion. But it's what happened after we went off the air that's one of the biggest headlines of all, because things boiled over with General Manager Nick Aldis and Drew McIntyre. He feels he has gone too far, time and again interfering with action, time and again getting in the way and not following the orders of Nick Aldis. So what does the general manager do? He immediately orders that Drew McIntyre will put the Undisputed Championship on the line this coming Friday on SmackDown in Portland, Oregon against Cody Rhodes. Let's get back to the main event. Let's get back to Elimination Chamber and everything that transpired and your takeaway.
Look, there's so many questions going into this. One, does Seth have shooters? Does he just have a random bunch of guys in black out there ready to seize upon his enemies at any moment? I don't know. But look, so many of us, we were not expecting Seth Rollins to return at this moment. But I love that last year, he's the catalyst at the Elimination Chamber with that stomp. And once again, he is the catalyst at the end of the Elimination Chamber with another stomp, changing the landscape of WrestleMania.
The straw that stirs the drink is Seth Rollins in WWE. He did it again, and you pointed this out, E. We saw a lot of people in masks showing up in hoodies. For some reason, Tess, when you saw that man standing there, you knew.
I know that body.
You knew that body was Seth
He moved
Rollins.
a little different, didn't he? He moved a little different.
That he did. But it's great to see him back in the mix. And you know, another question I have is, if the vision is fully intact, does he do this? Now that Braun is not here, Bronson isn't here, like, this is the time now. This is the time to strike. And I think, you know, we always talk about him as the architect of the Shield, as someone who always is the master puppeteer. He made the right choice.
But don't forget, guys, at that moment, Logan Paul was going on a generational run in the chamber match. Logan Paul was 3 eliminations consecutively, and Seth Rollins ruins the Vision's plans.
And then there's from Nick Aldis afterwards.
Well, guess what? This Friday night on SmackDown, it is Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship. And that's all I have to say about it.
You just heard it. General Manager Nick Aldis absolutely enraged as the confrontation with Drew McIntyre. No, please. Security. Thankfully, security was right on top of things. They were just behind us. They pulled them apart before
Did you see how
anything.
shook I was, though, E, when Drew came in?
When your head whipped Braun, mine did too.
I didn't know. I just felt feet
unbelievable.
running everywhere. Security, that was crazy.
Chaos.
So the bottom line is that this Friday, Cody Rhodes gets another chance. Cody Rhodes is going to fight for the championship right away. He was hoping to get to WrestleMania to get hands on Drew McIntyre and potentially get that undisputed title back. He could do it Friday in Oregon as ordered by Nick Aldis. That is going to be a spectacular edition of Friday Night SmackDown. Now, as for tonight here in Chicago. There are pops, and then there are the kind of pops that CM Punk gets when he goes out there. This was the World Heavyweight Championship against Finn Balor.
You know what I loved was there's no Judgment Day, there was no shenanigans, there was none of that. We just got a great wrestling match between two future Hall of Famers, two legends, and they brought it. It was gritty, it was aggressive, it was everything that I hope this match would be.
What is CM Punk famous for saying when he comes out on the ramp? It's clobbering time. And that is what we got, a straight-up, old-fashioned Chicago clobbering. What a great match.
There is nobody who represents a city with more pride in all of sports than that man does in his attachment to Chicago. So let's bring out the defending World Heavyweight Champion. Hey, Chicago, it's CM Punk. That was awesome, brother. That was awesome. Come on, sit down. That was quite the well-earned win. That was quite the well-earned win. You can see it on your face.
As that footprint on your face.
How was that up kick? That's how.
Which one?
Right.
There's a few. There's a few. There's a few footprints on my face right now, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta tell you, you all make it so worth it. All right, to borrow a phrase from a friend of mine, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, we got a lot to talk about. You know what I do want to talk about? Because all week long, on every show everybody would say, can you imagine the pop when his music, but we didn't even get to the music because we got to Ray Clay, the famous Chicago Bulls PA announcer. That was special, Punk.
That song, Alan Parsons Project, obviously has a connection with the United Center being an intro for the Bulls dynasty. There's a statue of a man named Michael Jordan right over there in the vestibule. There's also Ricky Steamboat's entrance for a lot of his time here in WWE, WrestleMania 3. It's a magical song, ladies and gentlemen, and I got goosebumps just thinking about it and talking about it. But the best part about that entrance are these people behind me. And when I say the people behind me, I mean the entirety of the city of Chicago, because they are always behind me.
A lot of people, you know, I'm from the hip-hop world, as you know, a lot of people represent a city. You associate this artist or this performer with a city. Does it ever amaze you just how much the city that you're from loves you? This is rarefied air, the way you associate CM Punk in Chicago.
I am one of them, so it is always humbling to know, like when I come from this city and I have watched such mega stars, mega athletes like Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Jeremy Roenick, Ed Belfort, Jonathan Taves, Patrick Kane, Seabrook, Duncan Keith, like, I mean, the 85 Bears.
Mike Singletary, baby.
If you put me on a list with any of them, no matter how low on that list, I'm still on the list. Chicago, man, Chicago is the city that works.
Punk, what really stood out for me is you two went out there and had a great wrestling match. No Judgment Day, no shenanigans. Was it important for you to have this kind of match with Finn?
Hey, listen, I'm always ready for anything. I was expecting Judgment Day to come out there, and I'll be honest, I had a GTS for everybody, even that big-headed goof JD. Even goofy Raquel, I would have lifted her up on my shoulders, and I would have boosted her Mexican ass over my head, and I would have lifted my knee up and put it straight through her goofy face.
Raquel, too.
I got a GTS for everybody that ain't on my side.
Hey, the sharpshooter was a nice touch tonight.
Thank you very much. A little homage to Brett, one of my mentors.
13.
Yeah, WrestleMania 13 at Allstate, SummerSlam 1994 here. I was here watching Brett and Owen tear it down in a cage, just like these people were here watching me and Finn tear it down in the United Center.
You know who else tore it down?
My wife,
AJ Lee.
AJ Lee.
AJ Lee tore it up.
I'll allow it.
All right. Here's the end, Punk.
Yeah,
with the
speaking
gold
of my
back in
wife,
your hand.
I couldn't be more
Here
proud
it
of
is.
her.
Here's the moment. Here's the moment. Characterize this.
This is a nice surprise. She wouldn't kiss me on the lips because I was.
I wouldn't kiss you on the
I don't know. We're gonna have a conversation
Hey, listen,
about that later.
There's going to be no love in 7 weeks in Las Vegas. It is undoubtedly one of the most anticipated main events in the history of WrestleMania. And now the threat is gone. You got through this, and we can just say it. CM Punk and Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. And Roman spoke up tonight. Roman was on social media, and let's show everybody what he said. This is what Roman Reigns said after he watched CM Punk. He said, "Not sure who looked more tired, the crowd or the champion. Enjoy this final month of relevancy."
Oh, man. He's got time to tweet, but he doesn't have time to come to Chicago. Listen, Roman Reigns, second highest arena gate record in company history, and you're not number one either. 19,346 people showed up in Chicago because I am a fighting champion, and I will travel to Las Vegas, and yeah, I'm gonna be tired. And yeah, I'm gonna be beat up and I'm gonna be bandaged, but that keeps me sharp, on the edge, where I need to be. And for me, the action is the juice. You can sit at home and we're gonna call you Rusty Reigns when you show up in Las Vegas. And I got a GTS for you and every one of your stupid family members.
I think that's the mic drop right there. That's CM Punk, and he defended the World Heavyweight Championship tonight. Chicago Zone is headed to WrestleMania with the golden hand. As we continue on with the Elimination Post-Show, and reminds you that AAA is coming your way. That is immediately coming up. El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr., AAA Latin American champion. AAA Mega Championship opportunity is coming your way on a spectacular night from here in Chicago to all over the world. We are getting set for WrestleMania.
Man, there is being in the zone, and there is being in the zone.
What a promo.
I felt like I was just sitting next to Jordan before in the flu game. That was magic.
I got chills. Fired up, man. He's ready. He's WrestleMania ready.
Rusty Reigns.
There are certain nights in WWE that alter the course of everything else. Tonight was one of those nights. It happened across the board, but let's get back to what happened in the main event, in the men's chamber match. By the way, Logan Paul had a superb night. Logan Paul was on fire early, eliminating Javon Evans. Logan Paul eliminated LA Knight. Logan Paul, who earned this opportunity just 24 hours ago, eliminated Trick Williams. He went from out of the chamber to into the chamber, but then the masked men came into play. Of course, the Vision has been dealing with so much lately. The brutal injuries, the masked men appearing, and then this happened, Big E.
Look, we were not ready for Seth Rollins to return tonight. I thought he was missing Mania. I did not expect it, but as soon as we saw him step through those ropes, we knew, Rosenberg, you and I knew that was Seth Rollins himself.
But again, guys, we cannot forget how magical what Logan Paul was doing till that moment. Imagine what Logan Paul would have said if he had been thrown into this match the night before and won the chamber, maybe setting a record for eliminations on the way. And Seth Rollins took that all away from Logan Paul.
We never hear the end of it. Look, I thought Logan Paul was going to be a last-second fill-in, do a couple of things, he'd be in and out, that he wouldn't be prepared for this match, but he really did put on a show tonight.
He was fantastic, and this is something I want to talk to you about, E. I don't know, man. I don't know if Cody has a kick coming. Him and Randy both had to deal with Drew. Randy's the one who scores the RKO and gets the win.
Randy Orton did what Randy Orton does best. He pointed to that sign to WrestleMania. He wins Elimination Chamber. And please welcome the Viper, Randy Orton.
Congrats, brother.
Hey, man, that was hot. That was hot. They loved it.
Soak it in, Randy. Another proud...
Take the victory lap.
Another proud Midwestern man.
That he is.
From not too far away.
Randy Orton celebrating with the fans here in Chicago. He came here with purpose, and he delivered the RKO that wiped out Drew McIntyre, who was once again interfering with a match, and then the RKO on Cody Rhodes. And we'll get right to it. Randy, here's what I love about you arriving at this point of your career. When you returned in early January, you said, hey, I'm here to get gold again. I'm here for history. I'm here for the quest for number 15. Man, you are on that journey. You're on a rocket ride on that journey.
I sure am. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm getting number 15, Joe. I'm getting number 15 at WrestleMania. I don't care what I got to do. Drew McIntyre, he's in for a treat. I owe him one for last week too. Oh my God.
Stay back, Tess.
Oh, give us one. Here it is. Yeah! We needed that. Now,
I just realized I've never done one of these before. I could do this every week.
Randy, as beloved as you are, as legendary as your career has been, did you ever feel like at this stage you were a little slept on? A lot of the conversation going in was about Cody, almost as if he was a shoo-in. Did you ever feel like people were already trying to put you in that phase of your career where you're just giving back, you're just there to make others look good? Was that anything that crossed your mind at all?
A few years ago, and you can relate with this, I had a career-threatening injury, man, and I had a spinal fusion, and I didn't think I was going to be able to wrestle again. So when I came back, I was grateful for every second that I was in that ring, and I thought to myself, let me give back. Let me talk to the youngins. And I did, and I have, and I will continue to do that. But I got to get mine too, you know what I'm saying? I got to get number 15. I got to beat Cena's number 17, Flair's number 16. I think me and H are tied at 14, so I got to start with number 15, man. And you know what? I did a little interview in the ring. I think it was for Sports Center afterwards. And tonight was my 196th pay-per-view, or excuse me, PLE. And it was in my 10th Elimination Chamber, which means I'm going to main event at WrestleMania. It'll be my 21st WrestleMania.
That's insane.
And I'm going to set a record there too in a few years, by the way. And I'm going to get my 15th title, as we've stated already a few times.
Now, Randy, the stories about you as a young Viper, Legend Killer days.
Don't say too much now.
I'm not gonna say too much. But the Legend Killer days, young Randy Orton, first championship, youngest champion of all time. There are a lot of stories about you in those days, and you've talked about your growth. Did you ever picture a time when you would be at this age, this level of maturity, and still be this damn good?
Don't be fooled. I am still quite immature. But no, in all seriousness, I never saw myself being in the role that I'm in now, and I'll be honest, it is quite fulfilling. Easy with that talk.
They heard fulfilling, got excited.
It's fulfilling, and you know what? I like Javon Evans, bless his heart. He looked great out there tonight.
Yeah.
He ended up getting eliminated, of course, but seeing him, seeing Trick, seeing the other young guys, there's a few guys down in NXT, Miles Bourne's one of them. There's a lot of guys that I'm excited to talk to, and I can tell that they're excited to listen. And I feel like there's a certain lane that I've stayed in where I make little things mean something. And just last night, I was able to talk with a couple young guys, and I could tell that they were really excited to hear what I had to say, and their eyes kind of got wide open, and they realized, like, oh, wow, this Randy, he knows his shit, you know what I'm saying? And I do, and I have a lot to give back, and like I said, it's fulfilling to me. It fills my lungs up with fresh air, man. It makes my heart beat faster. I love this business, and if I could do it 10 more years, I will, God willing.
Randy, I got to get your reaction before we say goodbye to what happened after the men's chamber match when Nick Aldis feels that Drew McIntyre has gone way too far. Things were explosive between the two of them, and then Nick Aldis, the general manager, ordering immediately Friday Night SmackDown that Drew McIntyre must defend that undisputed WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes. What's your reaction to that?
I actually didn't hear that announcement until I was running to this desk just a few minutes ago. There's a lot that can go on between now and like I said, I heard as I was running down the hallway, is this next week in Portland?
It is. That's right.
Drew McIntyre
It is.
versus Cody
Yes.
Rhodes for the title. Joe, I'm going to have to wait and see what happens in Portland. But right now, my sights are set on Drew McIntyre. He hit me with the title last week during my match with Aleister Black, caused me to lose that match. I owe him one for that. But that being said, I'm going to wait and see what happens in Portland with Cody and Drew.
For now, we celebrate this. Congratulations, Randy Orton, Elimination Chamber winner. You're off to WrestleMania. Championship match is ahead. What a spectacular night here in Chicago. Randy Orton, your winner. Rhea Ripley wins the Women's Chamber. AJ Lee is your new Women's Intercontinental Champion. CM Punk, hometown hero, defends the Heavyweight Championship. And it has been ordered for Friday Night SmackDown. The big news following. Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre happens next Friday in Portland. Spectacular evening here in Chicago as we continue on the road to WrestleMania. Stay tuned for AAA live action immediately following this post show right now. Should be great.